सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। So the topic is that the Pradhanavadi, he just wants to say that the one who created the world is not some conscious Parameshwara, is not created by Ishvara. It is created by only some inert matter. Nobody created it. It is just subtle inert matter called Pradhanam. Unmanifest matter became manifest. You see, that's called creation. It's like tree is not created by some Ishvara. In fact, the tree was there unmanifest in the seed. That unmanifest tree in the seed becomes manifest. That's all. Tree was unmanifest and it becomes manifest. In the same manner, this universe was unmanifest, the matter was unmanifest, and then it became manifest. The unmanifest itself creates itself, meaning the Pradhanam, the unmanifest matter is called Pradhanam, and it became manifest. So, some Ishvara who is a conscious being, he created the world. This particular topic is not appealing. But the Shruti says that Ishvara created the world. So, Ishvara, what the Shruti says is Sat created the world. Sat. And here the Purva Pakshi thinks Sat means only Pradhanam. Sat means what is. It could be matter, it could be Chetanam, but here in this context, it is only matter. All that is available is only matter. This matter, before it was created, before it became manifest, it was unmanifest. So that unmanifest matter is what we call Sat. So Sat doesn't mean Ishvara. Then we ask questions. Hey, how can, because the Shruti says he thought and he created. God thought and created. How can the matter think and create? If matter created matter, then how can matter think and create? How can matter think and matter can't think? For that has already, we have gone through a lot of arguments to and for and against these things. And now, the next sutra begins. The next sutra refers to some statements of the Shruti where, interpretation is not possible. You see, if a word, supposing a word is available for interpretation, then what happens is, then you can interpret this way, you can interpret that way. You see, this is called being available for interpretation. See? If it is available for interpretation, then interpretation can be done this way, that way, and in any way. This is what we call free for all. But the next sutra we are going to have, that sutra refers to certain statements of the Upanishads where interpretation is not possible, it is too obvious that the creator is not matter, that the creator is a conscious being. What is created is matter, the creator is not matter. What is created is five elements matter. The creator is conscious being. So, in this matter, so the second sutra we are going to have, it is going to come up with some of the statements of the Shruti which do not allow us any interpretation. Doesn't allow any interpretation. See, certain words, mean certain things in different contexts. But this particular word, even this word, he thought, it can't be interpreted really different. He thought means he thought. That means he is a conscious being. I can't say this table thinks, this mountain is thinking, this river is thinking. So thought means it has to be a conscious being. Even though that itself is good enough, that statement that he thought and he created establishes that it is the conscious being who created, not matter. This is good enough. But the Purvapakshi now is going to interpret it. He thought can be interpreted differently. He thought, it means Sat thought. The truth thought. Sat, the truth. The truth thought and created. Here the truth need not mean some conscious Bhagavan, some conscious Ishvara. Truth means matter. Matter, the truth created matter, the world. Matter, the truth, the matter. Matter, the truth created matter, the world. But how can it think? We say it thought and created. All right, matter created the matter. But we don't say matter thinks and creates matter. Matter doesn't think. For that he says, this particular expression, that matter thought, it need not be taken literally to be true. That the truth thought and created matter, that the truth thought can be interpreted figuratively. Figuratively means not that matter literally thought, it as though thought. This as though thought is an expression that we use in our daily life. You see, a poet can say, this mountain is in meditation. This mountain is doing a dhyanam, so tranquil. This tree, this still tree is in meditation. And supposing that the tree is too much, it's moving too much, you can say, this tree is in tension. This tree is restless. This tree is restless. And the river is moving fast. We can say, the river is in a hurry. The river thinks. The river is in a hurry and it wants to reach the ocean soon, quickly. This river is so fast, it wants to reach the goal. It wants to reach the goal. The river wants to reach the ocean. The mountain is in meditation. The tree is in tension. You see, like this, the clouds are in joy. The clouds are playing, the play of clouds. I mean, these are all expressions we use in life. And all these expressions, show that they're all conscious. These are all conscious expressions. It is in a hurry. It is in meditation. And supposing there is a landslide, oh, the mountain wants to fall. We can say, the mountain wants to fall. Kulam pipati shati, this is the expression he is going to give as an example. A river bank, has developed cracks and it is going to fall. Now what can you say? I mean, poetically, figuratively, what can you say? It wants to fall. It wants to fall. So you are attributing a want to the inert object. It wants to fall. So just as in our day-to-day life, want and thought, these are all attributed. We do attribute them. We do attribute thought and want, etc. We do attribute them to the inert objects, but not literally, but figuratively, poetically, figuratively. Figuratively. Like we sometimes, you see, and we can be very figurative about the individuals, conscious individuals. And sometimes we describe if a person is not able to do homework fast, then you say, why he is not able to do homework? He can't think. He can't think means he is inert. He is inert. We are describing the conscious being as inert, but not literally inert. He is conscious. It's a figurative expression. He is dumb. He is able to talk, but he is not able to talk fast. Then we call him, oh, he is dumb. What are all these? Figurative expressions. This figurative expression in Sanskrit is called gauna vritti or upachara. Gauna vritti, gauna or upachara. Upachara means, as though. Figurative. Now similarly, the scripture also, it just says the truth, thought and created. When it says the truth, thought and created, all that the scripture means is that this matter as though thought, not literally thought, because matter can't think. Matter as though thought and created. So, if it as though thought, not literally thought. If it literally thought, then it is a conscious being. If it as though thought, then it is matter. Are you able to follow? If the Sat literally thought, a real thought, then it becomes a conscious being. If it is as though thought, then it is inert. So, tad aikshata, the truth thought and created need not be literally thought, but as though thought. As though thought means matter. Sat can mean matter. Sat need not mean Ishvara. This is going to be the argument given by the Purvapakshiya. Now please let us read. atra aham yaduktam na acetanam pradhanam jagatkaranam Ikshatyadhikaranam tat anyathapi upapadyate acetanepi chetanavat upachara darshanat. So, Purvapaksha says, hey Siddhanti, you said before, inert matter can't be the source of the world. Acetanam pradhanam, the inert matter. Na jagat karanam, can't be jagat karanam. This is what you said. Something inert cannot be the source of the jagat. Why? The source of the world, before it created the world, it saw, it thought and created. Ikshatyadhikaranam Lec. The source has the capacity to think. If the source has the capacity to think, then it cannot be inert. Iti, this is what was said by the Siddhanti. Now, Purvapakshi says, tad anyathapi upapadyate. This statement that this sat thought, the implication of the thought, that this sat thought and created, this particular statement can be interpreted differently. Tata anyathapi upapadyate. It can be interpreted differently. How you can interpret? Hey, instead of interpreting it literally, instead of interpreting that he thought, Sat thought this expression, instead of interpreting it literally, we can interpret it figuratively. You understand? Figuratively. Like, it says Devadatta thinks. Now see the difference between literal and figurative. So Devadatta is a human being. If you say he thinks, then it is literal, because he does think. He does think. It's like, if you call a lion, a real lion in the forest, if you call a lion, that is called being literal. It's literally true. But if you call a lion-looking man, he is not a lion, but he looks like a lion. Then that is what? He is not literally a lion, but he as though figuratively lion. In that manner, when we say the truth thought, it did not literally think it only as though thought. Means it is looked upon as the thinker. Acetanepi, even though the truth is only inert, Chetanavad upachara darshanat. It can be viewed, you can talk about it as though, is a person. You can talk about the elements as persons. The moon is looking at you. You see, this is as though it is a conscious entity. The sun is looking at you as though it is a conscious entity. It's not literally looking at you. But if you say the sun is looking at you, the moon is looking at you, this expression is called gauna. In that manner, the truth also, before it created the world, it thought. Means it did not literally think it as though things. Chetanavad upachara darshanat. And now he gives an example. Yatha, just as. Pratyasanna patanatam. Pratyasanna. Pratyasanna means just about to happen. Something about to happen. That's called pratyasanna. Like a person who is about to die. He's just lying down on the bed. He's called pratyasana. Mrityuhu means about to die. Pratyasana. On the brink. That's called the brink. As in the brink. The verge. So, supposing a bank of a river has two banks. Supposing you see a bank, it's shaky, it's on the brink of falling. The bank is on the brink of falling. At that time, as an observer, you can use the expression pratyasanna patanatam. Pratyasanna patanatam. Patana means falling. A river bank which has developed cracks and it is about to fall. Nadyaha kulasya. Nadyaha of the river. Kula, bank. A river bank is about to fall. Now, if you are very poetic in your thinking and expressions, poetic means, do you know what poetic means? Poetic means you are never literal. That is called poetic. You are never literal. You always describe the objects as though they are persons. So when you talk about the flower as though it is a conscious entity, all that problem. That's why he lives in all gaunam. When you say something gaunam, that becomes poetry. If you use mukhya, then you are a scientist. If your expressions are literal, if you call spade a spade, you are a scientist. If you call spade by something else, then you are a poet. So, kulasya alakshya. Alakshya means seeing. Seeing the bank of a river about to fall. A poet can say like this: Kulam pipati shati. This kulam, this bank, pipati shati, patitum ichhati. It wants to fall. This bank wants to fall. You see? This bank wants to fall. We are attributing want to the inert. We are attributing want to the inert. But does it have literally a want? Can a bank of a river literally want? That also. It can't literally want. I am attributing want, not that it has a want. I am attributing. It wants to fall. I am attributing a want. It doesn't have a want. It is thinking to fall. I am attributing thought. It doesn't have. It doesn't think. In that manner, Shastram is attributing thought to matter, not the matter thinks. This is called Gauna. It's attributing thought. So, pipati shati, it wants to fall. Iti, in this manner, acetanepi kule, even though the river bank is inert. Even though the river bank is inert, we attribute want to it. It doesn't have a want. We attribute a want. The moon is looking at you. The moon is not looking at you. The moon is inert. But we attribute looking. So if you go on attributing, if you attribute certain qualities to the moon, you attribute seeing to the moon, that is attribution. It's not that the moon sees. It doesn't see. But I can use a poetic expression. Oh, the moon is looking at you. The moon is laughing at you or smiling at you. The moon is smiling at you. The river is in a hurry to reach. So, the river is not either in a hurry or anything. We attribute hurry to river. We attribute want to the inert things. We attribute desire, thought to the inert things. We attribute even consciousness to inert things. This attribution of what they don't have, we ascribe certain qualities which we are ascribing the conscious quality to inert things is called gauna, called figurative expression, gauna vritti. I call a human being a lion. He is not lion, but I am ascribing. I may have some logic to ascribe it. That's different. Maybe he is looking like a lion. That's different. But even if he looks like a lion, he can't be a lion. But if I say that he is a lion, this is not literal expression. It is ascription. It is attribution. And this attribution, that expression that attributes something, is called gauna vritti. And another word for gauna vritti is upachara. Otherwise, aupacharikam. Upachara means aupacharikam. Aupacharikam means as though. I can say the river is in a hurry, and the other person immediately questions me. Hey, how can you say this is an inert thing? Neither it is in a hurry. It's not aware of what it is doing. How can you say the river is in a hurry? As though the moon is looking at you. How can it look at me? It's inert. As though the bank of the river wants to fall. Hey, how can the bank of a river want to fall? How can it ever want anyway? How can it ever want? It is inert. I can still say, yes, it wants to fall because it has already developed cracks. It is on the brink. I can say it wants to fall. What is that expression? Gauna. Understand this gauna. In Shastra, this is very important. This discerning between literal expression and figurative expression. Gauna vritti, mukhya vritti. Bahut jaruri hai. Clear? This topic. Literal and figurative. Mukhya, and if you call a man, if you call a lion, mukhya vritti. But if you describe a man, a lion, it becomes gauna. In that manner, the Purvapakshi now, he uses this whole topic to turn the tables on the Siddhanti. Hey, you say the truth thought uncreated, Sat, Aikshata, truth thought and created. Okay. Now, just because the truth thought and created, just because the truth thought and created, you need not jump to the conclusion that the truth is consciousness. Because that the truth thought can be a literal expression, that the truth thought can be a figurative expression. Shruti may not be using that expression in a literal sense, it may be using it in Gauna. So we can also say the truth thought, not literally, but the truth as the thought and created. Like what? The bank wants to fall. It is thinking of falling. So the pradhanam also, the truth thought and created need not clinch the issue, need not clinch the conclusion that it is a conscious being. If it thought, just because it thought, because the Shruti says it thought, because the Shruti says it thought, you don't have to conclude that it is a conscious being, because even the inert matter can be described to think by Gauna Vritti figuratively. Clear? That he says here. Yatha pratyasanna patanatam nadyaha kulasya alakshya kulam pipatishatiti acetanepi kule chetanavad upacharaha. Looking at the inert bank, we can describe it as though conscious by attributing want to it. Upacharaha drishtaha. It is seen in this world. Another beauty is, anyway, Shabda is the Pramanam, Vedanta, words are the Pramanam. We have to find out what the truth is on the basis of what the Vedanta says, the words. And words means language. And language means you have all the Mukhya Vritti as well as Gauna Vritti. Language always carries both a literal sense as well as figurative sense. The mountain is in meditation. What is it? Gauna Vritti. So you can't say language must be looked at only in its literal sense. If we have to take only the literal sense, of the words, then the entire poetry is gone. The entire poetry is gone. Lot of things go. Then you can't tell your son, when he is not doing homework very fast, you can't say, my son doesn't think. He does think, he is a conscious being. You can't say he is dumb. He is dumb, he doesn't think. These are all what? Figurative. He is useless. In fact, you can't do any ninda. Thus, language does carry both Mukhya Vritti, literal sense, as well as Gauna Vritti. So when the Shruti says the Sat thought, uncreated. Now, Sat thought, quote unquote, need not be literal. It could be Gaunam. If it is Gaunam, then it is matter. That means the creator of this world, what is created is matter, and the one who created is also matter. It is the matter that created matter. The matter that created is called pradhanam. And this is the world, Jagat. Matter created matter, or matter became manifest as matter. Subtle matter became manifest as gross matter. You say anything, the subtle matter became manifest as gross matter. Or you say the subtle matter created gross matter. Doesn't matter. But there is no conscious being. Conscious being may be there, but that is not what created the world. The Jagat Karanam, the source of the universe, the truth of this universe is not conscious being. The truth of the conscious, the truth of the world is matter, otherwise called pradhanam. That is why he says, tadvat. Just as we can say that the bank wants to fall, when it is on the brink of falling, we can use the expression that the bank wants to fall. Tadvat. In the same manner. Acetanepi pradhane. Even if pradhanam is inert. Pradhanam means the subtle inert matter. Pradhanepi acetane. Pratyasanna sarge. When it is on the brink of creating. When the bank is not on the brink of falling, you can't say it wants to fall. But if it is on the brink of falling, means it has loosened up. It has got cracks. You know that it is going to fall. At that time you can use an expression, it wants to fall. That is called pratyasanna patanata. In the same manner, when the pradhanam is about to create the world, at that time you can describe pradhanam like this. How? Pratyasanna sarge. When it is about to create, chetanavad upacharaha. You can describe it as though another conscious entity. Chetanavad upacharaha. Bhavishyati can happen. How? Tad Ikshata. Oh. Now it sees and creates. Now it sees what to become. It sees what it wants to become and it becomes. The milk sees what it wants to become and becomes. The milk becomes curd, and as it is getting transformed into curd, you can use the expression. Hey, the milk sees what it should become. क्या बनना है ये देखता है. The milk sees and then it becomes. The milk sees what to become and it becomes. Other words, the milk sees what to create and it creates. The pradhanam also sees what to become, what to create, and it creates. Mechanic. It's mechanic. Just because there is an expression, he thought and he created, immediately you become such a big bhakta. There is a Bhagwan, there is a conscious being, Brahman, vagaira, pura problem. Purvapakshi is going, what is this great babal? This bawal, you are making a big bawal about Tadaikshata. It can be matter. Therefore here it says, Chetanavad upacharaha bhavishyati tadaikshata iti. This is over. Now, see how he describes. Yatha, just as. Loke, in this world, is dunya mein. Kaschit, someone. Chetanaha, a conscious individual, means a human being. Kaschit Chetanaha. Chetanaha is a conscious being anyway. Chetanaha. If he wants to go to another village, What does he do first? Snatva. He gets up in the morning and then he takes a bath. Snatva, bhuktva, having taken his lunch. Cha aparanhe, then in the afternoon. Aparanhe, before noon, purvanha. Before noon is purvanha. Purva means pahale. Apara means later. Anha means, the day. Means the first part of the day and the later part of the day. Clear? That is called purvanha. Before noon it is purvanha. And after noon is aparanha. And exactly at noon it is madhyanha. Purvanha, aparanha and madhyanha. Before noon, after noon, and at noon. That is madhyanha. So this person, just imagine, there is a person who gets up and gets ready and has his lunch. And after noon, he goes to village. This is a sequence. Taking a bath, taking food, and travel. This is a sequence. It's not that he goes to the village, then he has a bath, and then he has lunch, then he has bath. This sequence can't be reversed. You get ready, have lunch, and go. You go, take bath, ये सब नहीं है. This is called sequence. Now, wherever there is a sequence of creation, wherever there is a sequence, you attribute intelligence. Wherever there is a sequence, you attribute intelligence. When a conscious being does, when a human being, when a conscious being does something with a sequence, either he is a conscious being, he has intelligence anyway. There is intelligence in it. There is intelligence. Because he doesn't break the sequence, he sees the logic of the sequence, and therefore he gets up and gets ready, takes his lunch and goes. This is called krama. This is called krama. Krama. And wherever there is krama, you see intelligence. Now, in the creation, when pradhanam becomes matter, also there is a krama. First, it becomes mahat, then it becomes the world, then it becomes the body, then it becomes the mind. Purvapakshi is thinking, there is a krama in manifestation, like a seed. There is a seed. First it germinates, and it becomes a sapling, becomes a plant, becomes a tree, becomes a bigger tree. This is what? Krama. When there is a krama, even if it is an inert thing, we attribute intelligence. There is nothing. There is intelligence. So when pradhanam is about to become the world, and when it becomes, and whenever it becomes the world with a certain sequence, keeping in view that the pradhanam is about to become the world. The Shastra keeps in view that the pradhanam is about to become the world, and the pradhanam does become the world with a certain sequence. Therefore, the Shruti can ascribe, attribute figuratively intelligence to pradhanam. And therefore, yatha loke kaschit chetanaha snatva bhuktva cha aparanhe. Gramam, another village, Rathena, by a chariot, Gamishyami, I will go, iti, Ikshitva. He sees it in his mind. Even before as he gets up, he sees it in his mind. Even as he gets up, he sees it in his mind. Let me get ready, let me take my lunch and let me go to the village by the chariot. He sees it in his mind. Gamishyamiti ikshitva anantaram, thereafter, tathaiva, as he thinks, as he plans, niyamena pravartate, he executes his planning without, niyama means what? With a sequence. That is a niyama. He executes his planning without breaking the sequence. In the same manner, what does the pradhanam do? Tapha, similarly, pradhanam api, pradhan also, mahadadhyakarena, it becomes manifest with a sequence. First it becomes mahat, then ahankara, then buddhi, then indriyas. Like this, there is a sequence in its manifestation. Mahadadhyakarena, niyamena, in a sequence. Pravartate, that niyama means, without breaking the sequence. Niyamena pravartate. Just as a man thinks in the morning, just as a man gets up and plans in his mind to take bath and take lunch and go to the village by a ratha. In the same manner, pradhanam also, it transforms to become the world in a sequence, and in such a situation, there is nothing wrong in attributing aupacharika, figuratively attributing intelligence to it. Tasmat, therefore, chetanavat, looking upon that pradhanam as though a conscious entity, as though an intelligent entity. Tasmat chetanavat, chetanavat means as though intelligent. Upacharyate, it is looked upon. Shruti looks upon pradhanam as an intelligent entity, though it is not intelligent, though it is only inert. The moon is looking at you, is what? It is an intelligent expression. I am ascribing intelligence, but in actuality, it's not intelligent. It is an intelligent expression of something unintelligent. You see? It is an unintelligent, it is inert. But I am saying it's looking at you. Similarly, here also, pradhanam does manifest in a certain logic, with a certain sequence. Therefore, there is nothing wrong in saying that the pradhanam saw what to become and becomes. Like an individual saw where to go and goes. You see what to do and do. Similarly, pradhanam saw what to become and became. Tasma chetanavad upacharyate. Clear? Purvapakshi has put his argument before. You see, now it is for the Siddhanti to answer. Because he thought, the truth thought is the foundation for the whole understanding. Is that truth a conscious being, or is it some matter? Purvapakshi asks a question. Siddhanti asks a question. He hears. Siddhanti hears all that the Purvapakshi says, and now he is not going to begin his answer. He just, it is a kind of an interruption. Hey, please tell me, kasmat punaha. Now read the next line. Why? Kasmat. Why? Karanat. For what reason? For what reason on the earth? For what reason? Vihaya. Abandoning. For what reason do you abandon? Mukhyam ikshitritvam. For what reason do you abandon the literal sense? For what reason do you abandon the literal sense? Aupacharikam kalpyate. And you are interpreting this statement as figurative. You know, there is a certain logic. Now, here. When the mukhya vritti is not tenable, then you go for gauna vritti. The moon is talking to you. I know mukhya vritti is not possible. Straight away I take it gauna vritti. So to begin with, I must look for mukhya vritti. Understand? When the mukhya vritti doesn't apply, when the literal sense doesn't apply, then I go for gauna vritti, figurative sense. But now Siddhanti is asking a question. Please tell me the reason why you abandoned the literal sense. If it is literal sense, then if the truth literally thought, if the truth literally thought means it is conscious being. It amounts to a conscious being. If it figuratively thought, then it could be inert. Then it has to be inert. If it figuratively thought, it is inert. If it is literally thought, it is a conscious being. Now, before you take to gauna vritti, you have to first look for mukhya vritti and discover it doesn't apply, then take gauna vritti. This is the nyaya. This is called the fairness. That is the logic in the literature. Not only in literature, that is the common sense. That is the common sense. So Siddhanti is asking, kasmat punaha karanat. Well, mukhyam ikshitritvam vihaya aupacharikam kalpyate. Why are you resorting to a figurative sense? For this, Purvapakshi answers, very intelligent answer he gives. Very intelligent answer he gives. Because, you know, what does the Shruti say? Just listen. The truth thought created space. The truth thought created fire. Listen again. The truth thought, tad aikshata, the truth thought, tad tejaha asrijata. The truth created the fire. Then it says, tad tejaha aikshata, the fire thought. The fire thought. Fire created water. Then the water thought, and it created the earth. There are two statements referring to the inert elements as thinkers. That the fire thought cannot be mukhya. Fire thought cannot be mukhya. Water thought cannot be mukhya. So, fire thought, water thought. Hey, similarly, sat thought, the truth thought. The truth thought is a statement falling along with the fire thought. the water thought. The statement that the truth thought, the statement that the truth thought is in the vicinity of the statements like the fire thought and the water thought. And therefore, which expressions are in majority? Fire thought, water thought, and there are so many anyway. Therefore, similarly, in keeping with them, the truth thought also must be taken as Aupacharikam. Fire thought is Aupacharikam. Water thought is Aupacharikam. And right there is the truth thought. Therefore, that also should be Aupacharikam. If it is Aupacharikam, then it is not a conscious entity. Then it is inert. If the inert fire can think and create water, and if the inert water can think and create earth, then the inert truth also can think and create. It can be described to think and create fire. Are you able to follow? And therefore, the Purvapakshi says, sir, the truth thought, this statement falls in the context of the fire thinking, water thinking, and therefore they are figurative expressions. Therefore, that the truth thought also must be a figurative expression. Therefore, that the truth thought is not literally true. That the truth thought is only an ascription, an attribution. It's a figurative expression, and therefore, the Shruti, even if it says the truth thought and created, it doesn't clinch that it is a conscious being, because even the inert can be described, it thought and it created. That he says here, please see. Tat tejaha aikshata, that fire thought. Ta apaha aikshanta, those waters thought. Iti cha, in this manner, achetanayoho, the inert elements. Are you able to follow? Don't make noise. Achetanayoho. Achetanayoho means the inert, the two inerts. Water is one inert, Tejas is another, two inert elements. Achetanayoho. Up Tejasoho, water and the fire. Chetanavat, as though conscious. Upachara darshanat are seen to be described. The Shruti does describe the Tejas as a conscious entity, because the Shruti says the Tejas, the fire thought. The Shruti says the fire thought. The Shruti says the water thought. That means it is describing the inert elements as thought. As thought. And similarly, the Shruti also says the truth thought. What is fire? Inert. What does the Shruti say? The fire thought. And what did it do? Created water. Okay. What is water? Inert. What did the Shruti say? The water thought. Created what? Inert earth. In the same manner, the inert pradhanam thought and created the elements. Thus the creator is inert, the created is inert. It is all inert through and through. It's all inert. The whole universe is inert. And its truth also is inert. Tasmat. Look at the line. Therefore, now he is concluding. Tasmat. Therefore, sakartrikamapi ikshanam. Even though seeing depends upon the seer, thinking depends upon the thinker. Sakartrikamapi ikshanam. Aupajarikam. But it can still be figurative. You see, the moon is seeing, the kulam is pipatishati, the banki wants to fall, the river is in a hurry, the mountain is in meditation. In that manner, the pradhanam, thought, create. Aupajarikimiti gamyate. Upajara praye vachanat is the logic. Upajara praye vachanat. You know, fire thought, is it mukhya or upachara? Upachara. Water thought, upachara. And along with them falls the statement, the truth, thought. So the majority, upachara. Therefore, that the truth thought falls in a group of statements which are in figurative sense, upachara. That's called upachara praya. Praya means majority. Praya means majority. Upachara praya darshanat. This statement that the truth thought and created falls. It is seen amid, it is seen with the statements which are all figurative. That the truth saw and created is seen with the statements which are all figurative in their sense. Therefore, that also should be interpreted as figurative. That is logic. How can I interpret one as literal and the rest is all figurative? Therefore, if it is falling in the realm of the literal expression, figurative expression, that also can be. It is more correct to interpret it in figurative sense than interpreting it in a literal sense. That is why upachara praye, in the context of the majority of the figurative expressions, darshana, seen. This statement that the truth saw and created, the statement that the truth saw and created falls amid expressions which are all figurative. And therefore, even when we say the truth saw and created, doesn't clinch, doesn't really establish that the source of the universe is a conscious being. Evam prapte, when there is Purvapaksha like this, when there is an opposition like this, aisa प्राप्त होने पर, इस प्रकार की पूर्व पक्ष की प्राप्त होने पर, एवं प्राप्ते, idam sutram, the following sutra, arabhyate is begun. In answer to this above Purva Paksha comes the next sutra. What is the next sutra? Gaunaschet. You can read. Gaunaschet na atma shabdat. This is the sutra written by Vedavyasa, analyzed by Shankaracharya. Hey Purvapakshi, if you say that the truth saw and thought and created, that the truth thought and created, or that the truth saw and created, if that seeing If you interpret it as Gaunam, it is wrong because Atma Shabdat. There is Atma Shabda used for the source. The Creator, not only he is saw, but he is also described as Atma. The word Atma cannot be interpreted figuratively. The word Atma, the word Swarupam, the word Atma cannot be interpreted figuratively. Atma is the Swarupam. The meaning of the word Atma is Swarup. The irreducible substance of anything is called Atma. If it is further reducible, it is not Atma. The irreducible foundation. Swarupam. And Atma Shabda is always used in the Shastram in the sense of Chetanam. Because even the Purva Pakshi, the present Purva Pakshi uses the word Atma for his Purusha. There is a conscious being. All that the Sankhya is talking is, he is not denying the existence of a Purusha. He is not denying the existence of consciousness. He is only saying conscious being is not the truth of the world. That is another reality. Purusha is different. Jagat is different. There is a conscious being that is called Purusha. And this is what? Inert. And the inert is born of another inert. All that he is saying is, he is not denying the existence of a consciousness, but that consciousness is one reality, the inert is another reality. He is saying consciousness is not the source of the world. He is not denying consciousness. For that Purusha, for that conscious being, the Purva Pakshi, the Sankhya uses the word Atma. He also uses the word Atma for the Purusha. That means Atma Shabda cannot be used for the Jadam. Atma Shabda is always used for Chetanam. And when the Shruti says the truth saw and truth created, while describing that Sat, the Shruti uses the word Atma. And therefore it can't be interpreted in the sense of something inert. Therefore Atma Shabdat, because there is a mention of the word Atma, interpreting it as Pradhanam is wrong. Interpreting it in the figurative sense is wrong. It has to be Mukhya. It's not Gaunam. This is the sutra that comes in response to the Purupaksha. And on that sutram we have Bhashyam. And this Bhashyam we'll see in the next class. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.